Temptation, simply put, is just that which points us away from what is good. And then the rest is really up to us. And I don't care if you're a saint or a sinner, young or old, as long as there's air in our lungs, no one is free from temptation. Now there's two things to keep in mind about temptation. First, they can be very small and annoying, like, am I going to destroy that entire bag of chips? But they can also be very serious and lead to that thing that destroys my peace, my relationships, my family, my marriage, my health, my career, my life, or worse, somebody else's. And the second thing to keep in mind is this. Temptations are just leading us away from what is good, or what is truth or love or life-giving. But sometimes we can put all the emphasis on, oh man, what's all this bad stuff it's leading me to? But not enough emphasis on, oh man, but what's all the good stuff it's leading me away from? So here are just 10 tips that I hope will help us all deal with those annoying temptations. When we think of temptations, we usually think of the obvious, like lust, food, drinking, drugs, laziness, gossip, greed, anger, and wanting everything that everybody else has that I don't. But then there are the not-so-obvious, like, am I tempted towards negativity, criticism, judgment, resentment, discouragement, envy, vanity, dark thoughts, overthinking, and the two big ones, doubt and self-pity. If we're going to go into battle, the first step is always, know your enemy. Once we know our temptations, we have to know what sets them off. Maybe it's a person, place, or thing. Maybe it's a mood or feeling like boredom, idleness, or complete and utter loneliness. But I think you and I know that 99.9% of all our triggers comes through one thing. Our portable, pocket-sized conduit of all the temptation of the entire universe. Know your triggers. Remove and avoid the ones we can, and have a solid game plan ready in advance for the ones we can't. Temptation is just right outside our door, right now, even as we speak. It doesn't get tired, it knows all our triggers, and it just waits for that perfect opportunity to come knocking. Our best shot to stop it is right here, at the door. It starts with just a thought, then our imagination entertains it. Then it brings us some kind of satisfaction or delight. Then a powerful attraction. Then we consent. This is how the enemy gains entrance.
Give in.
Only a fool takes chances. Make your stand here, because it's almost impossible to make it here. Keep reminding yourself that any temptation, no matter how strong and annoying it may be, will always pass. The saying goes, the devil who knocks and finds no entrance eventually gets bored and just moves on. I've found it takes about 23 minutes. So the next time you're battling with some temptation, set a timer for 23 minutes and just go do something else. The best weapon for annihilating temptation is actually As I think you know, some temptations become so wired into our brains and biology that we come to realize pretty fast our own strength and willpower just aren't enough. The strength comes from surrendering. Not surrendering to some temptation, but surrendering to the one who has the power. Infinite power. Now I know some of you are thinking, yeah, I prayed, it does nothing. Well, think of it this way. At the time of some temptation, we slowly lose control of our will. It becomes agitated and excited like a crazy out-of-control puppy. Now what happens when you place that puppy in its mother's arms? it becomes calm, subdued, docile. Jesus gave us all his mother, the most pure and docile and loving creature to ever walk the face of the earth. The next time you're battling some temptation, just place your will into your mother's arms and take a deep breath and surrender. Temptations teach us something about ourselves. They reveal who we are underneath the surface and scream out what's broken and what needs some work. Which, oh, by the way, leads to another little thing called temptation builds strength. At first, we can barely lift the small ones, but then over time, we can lift the really big ones, and not to mention help others lift theirs. Think of each temptation as an opportunity to build strength. Temptations keep us humble. My God, we all think we're God's gift to the universe these days. We got to bring it down a little bit. And a constant reminder of our complete and utter lack of self-control ought to do the trick. Beating temptations boosts confidence. Think of how you feel right after you give in to some temptation. Think of how you feel right after you don't. And finally, the greatest among us are those who face their demons and win. No one's ever rose to greatness by having it easy. Look at each temptation as a stepping stone to rise above ourselves. He who trims a little and snips a little advances little. We got to get to the roots. Usually we put all the emphasis on whether we're succeeding or failing at some temptation, and not enough emphasis on getting to the root cause of it all. Now, I don't know what that is. It could be unresolved trauma or family or anger issues, too much fear, too alone, or just too much time on our hands. But I would bet that for most of us, it just comes down to a lack of real purpose and meaning in our lives. Dig to the roots and get some help, if necessary. We're never going to be free of temptation, at least not in this life. But with calm and patient and brave endurance over time, we will master them. It's not going to happen overnight. Just get through the next 23 minutes, then the next hour, then the next day, then the next week. Think of it as just one of those things that's part of my daily labor, like working out and eating right. And win. Every day. No battle was ever won by running away. Sure, it may buy us a little time, but inevitably we all find ourselves right back to where we started, or worse. Eventually, we're all going to have to face our temptations. Temptations are the result of a lack of confidence, not only in my own strength, but in His. So the next time you're battling some temptation, literally imagine yourself standing up face to face with that temptation and take control. And don't let it beat you down. You beat it down. And not just with your own strength, but with His. And finally, we're all going to fall. And when we do, go easy on yourself. Don't beat yourself up or turn to worry, anxiety, or fear. These are just more temptations. Just pick yourself up and keep going. When we're face down in the dirt for the 1,000,000th time, there'll be two voices. One from above, of accusation, condemnation, kicking us when we're down and reminding us how bad we are. And the other, from down in the dirt with us, of compassion, forgiveness, lifting us up and saying, "Come on, I love you. Let's do this together." Only listen to the one. Temptation, simply put, is just that which points us away from what is good, or what is truth, or what is love, or what is life-giving. And these are simply just another name for what we call